Hello everyone, my name is Mirna, and on behalf of the Mindalia TV team, welcome to Mindalia live streaming, where thousands of people around the world gather daily to see the lectures and interviews organized by Mindalia TV. Today with us, we have the great pleasure of having once again Dr. Sirena Pelarolo. She is a board-certified holistic health coach, international author and speaker, radio host and blogger. She has 30 years of experience in the self-development, health, and wellness field. And we have a very, very special guest, Dr. Rebeca Pina. Before starting with them, we want to remind you that Mindalia's mission is to share information that can help raise the level of consciousness around the world. And you can do that by subscribing to our channel, leaving us a positive comment down this video, or sharing it with someone that you know that is going to benefit of the content that we're going to be talking here today. Also, while we are live streaming, if we are live streaming, we have the active chat. It's a screen that you are going to see here on my side or under the video in case that you're following us from a smartphone. Through there, you can interact with us and ask your questions. We also want you to collaborate with Mindalia with your own valuable content. For that, you can go to our website. On the top, you find the link. It says collaborate with Mindalia, and that link takes you to a form that you can fill out, and our technical team can get in contact with you. You can collaborate with us in English through Mindalia TV English, but you can also do it in Portuguese through Mindalia Televisão and Spanish through Mindalia Televisión. Visit our different channels and platforms. Follow us, our Facebook pages and Instagram accounts, because with that, you are not only helping us reach as much people in the planet as possible and accomplish our mission, which is to share information that can help raise the level of consciousness in the world, but you also keep yourself updated with the amazing information that we share there on a daily basis. I'm not delaying this any further. I have the very great pleasure of now introducing and actually saying welcome to Dr. Sirena and to Dr. Rebeca. Ladies, welcome to Mindalia live streaming. How are you?
We're great.
Thank you for having us here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mirna. Thank you. Thank you for having us and for the opportunity to interview an incredible mentor of mine, and Dr. Rebeca Pina, who's also Reverend Rebeca Pina, has done such an amazing job throughout her life, and she continues to do it, to share with as many people as possible the principles of science of mind and the principles of spirituality. She has a very interesting story that she will tell us about, how she became interested in science of mind, what are the tenets of science of mind, and how she's taking everything back to her native Mexico, where she has a school of spiritual leadership, where she's very interested in training spiritual leaders around Latin America, around the Spanish-speaking world, also Spain, so that they will, in their own lives and countries, they will also share these principles. This a very powerful spiritual principle. So welcome, Rebeca. I'm so happy to have you here. Would you be kind enough to tell us a little bit about the journey of your life and what took you to Science of Mind?
Thank you, Sirena. Thank you, Mirna, for having me here. It's an honor to be here and to be part of this movement of changing towards something better, to create a world that, to co-create and do our best for a world that works a bit more better for everyone. So it is a pleasure to be here, and my journey commenced many years ago. I'm a Mexican born in Aguascalientes, where I am right now, and I actually discovered Science of Mind because I'm also Canadian, and I moved to Canada 50 years ago. And that's where I discovered Science of Mind.
Why would you pair it with?
I discovered Science of Mind, and the most amazing thing is that I discovered it at with my doctor, my MD. I went because when I arrived to him, I arrived in Vancouver, British Columbia, with two little kids, one baby and a 3-year-old, and I needed a doctor. And right across from my home, talk about coincidences. There was this doctor That's it, Dr. Ferdinand Chen, MD. So I went there. I had to take my babies for vaccination and all that. And on his table, there was a book that said Basic Principles of the Science of Mind. So I was there and I would page the book and I said, gosh, if this thing works, one day I will dedicate my life to that because this is fantastic.
Wow.
So, and also, when I got there, I had been diagnosed in Toronto, where I moved first, 50 years ago, and I had been diagnosed with a very rapid growing um, arthritis of the degenerative kind. And the doctor told me, I was only 27, 28 years old, and he told me that by the age of 40, I will need some help to move around. Well, when I got and told that to Dr. Chen, which I didn't know, but he was also a practitioner of science of mind, and he says, well, look, we're not going to work that way here. You know, we're going to use also our minds. And so I started to, he started to, what I realize now is that he will do what we do, spiritual mind treatment. And I'm approaching 80. And I do yoga and Tai Chi, and I am pretty good and most exercises and walk around, and I have been kept healthy uh, ever since.
Wow.
So I said, if this was for me, I'm going to try it in other areas of my life.
What is spiritual mind treatment, Rebecca?
Well, yeah, I didn't even know. To me, when the doctor, he will relax me like a semi hypnosis type and will make me visualize the presence of this power, this creative and healing power that was penetrating all my body and my cells and renewing and removing whatever was not needed. And I will spend there 20 minutes and he will tape them. And in those days there were tapes.
Yes.
So I would play my tapes. Actually, my daughter played them for 20 years later. And those tapes, 3 or 4 he did for me, have kept me off crutches or anything like that and healthy. So it worked for my health. And I had promised to myself that if this thing worked for my money too, so I wouldn't have to worry, then I will dedicate my life to that. And would you believe that God took my words for it? And here I am, teaching this philosophy, which is a very positive, affirming life philosophy that totally changed my mind as to from the God, the punishing God that will be checking my every move, to a wonderful living presence that will heal and leave us love and so on. So that's what I have been doing for the last 30 years of my life and a bit more. Yes.
So
Sharing this.
I know you moved from Canada to California to become a minister, correct?
Yes, yes. So this is what we call the call. Believe me, it had to be a big call because I sold my home and belongings and spread them between my kids and left Canada and went to study 4 years into the Holmes Institute. Now, now I'm the dean for Latin America of the Holmes Institute. Yes. So that took only 30 years and so a few more, but here I am doing what I love the most and enjoying my 70s. I don't really remember numbers anymore. I really don't care. Enjoy life.
It's a beautiful life and a great inspiration. I would like us to talk a little bit about the principles of science of mind, because I know that these principles were Ernest Holmes brought together many different principles from different ancient traditions, metaphysical principles, and he put them together in the textbook Science of Mind that was published in 1927. And those principles have become very, very widespread. Would you like to talk about some of those principles?
Yes, of course. And what Holmes did, he did something really unique. He was the first one, I think, to say that he was not originating any ideas, was not someone sent by God or anything like that, but he just collected. He was a self-made scholar, and he learned so much from everywhere. First, the philosophers of his age, late 19th century, early 20th century. And he basically, what he did is to take all the ancient wisdom and put it in such a modern way, understandable and practical way. Like, I mean, everything that he teaches, the Master Jesus taught too, only that we somehow can understand and apply it in our lives a bit better, with more understanding. Sometimes we have to start with intellectual understanding and then move into a more profound absorption of the principles. And well, the basic principles of the science of mind are basically that God is all there is. So we are into the panentheism, but God is all there is. And because logically, if God is all there is, what am I? I'm also one with that we call God for the sake of a name to use. But really, we cannot put words into something we don't totally understand. All that we know is that this intelligence responds to our thought and acts upon it. So we need to be conscious of it. And we also need to know how to remove all the things that are on the way between the idea and the realization. So that's the basic principles that we are one with God, and therefore we have also all the power in us. And like the top of the ocean, we are not the whole ocean, but is one and the same with it. The same, the mini, in mini form.
Yes.
Yeah.
Many of those principles have been made very well known by the work of Louise Hay. And Louise Hay was a practitioner, a science of mind practitioner, and she was able to make it very widespread and popular.
And minister.
She was a minister.
Yes. She was my teacher, not regular teacher. She went to Vancouver in 1986, 85, 86, I cannot recall it. She wasn't totally famous, started to be famous. She just had written the You Can Heal Your Life and gave us a long weekend seminar. And I was there absorbing every word she said. And more than anything, her presence and the easiness of her way to express it. She actually received an honorary doctorate in 2004, 1 year after mine. Yes, she wasn't present to receive it, but she was there. She was always. She had been already a minister when she had her challenge of her illness. That then she changed her diet and everything, and she says, "Well, now I have the tools. I want to use them," and she did, and that's how she became Louise Hay and did a wonderful work. I mean, you can mention anyone you want in Mexico or Latin America, and nobody knows anybody. But if you say Louise Hay,
yes,
everyone knows Louise Hay.
Everybody knows Louise Hay.
Yeah.
And the important thing is to understand that the principles that she was teaching are these principles that we learned from Science of Mind. Of course, they're more widespread, but her work goes back to her origin, studying and training in science of mind.
And yes, and she always recognized it.
Yes.
And was one of us as a minister too, and a great example, but very humble and beautiful lady. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So after you got you did your ministerial school, when did you go back to Mexico and start the School for Spiritual Leadership?
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I didn't have a plan to go to Mexico, actually. I thought I would go back to Vancouver and start a ministry, because there were already a few Latinos, and besides, in Canada, it doesn't really matter if you have an accent, because everyone has an accent, or their mother or their grandfather, or we all come from the whole world. So um, I am. My plan was to go back there, but then two people contacted me from Mexico. One of them, the son of an ex-president. I will not say his name because I have not his permission to say it this time. Maybe I was not even going to mention it, but he was very helpful. He had learned science of mind through a doctor in Los Angeles, and it worked for him, and he was very grateful, and he loved Dr. Gold, his teacher. And so when he heard about a Mexican study in the Homes Institute, he contacted Home Office and told them that he wanted to meet me, and they put us together. And every time I was in Mexico City and he wasn't, and then I was in Canada and he wasn't, and then I was in Los Angeles. And so finally he went to Asilomar, to our yearly conference, and we met there, and that's how I came to Mexico City. He provided me the place where I could teach in San Angel, a beautiful home. And then that was how it commenced. Also, another lady, a Chilean lady, German Chilean lady, that also learned about science mind in Germany and wanted to bring it to Mexico. So that's how we started. I arrived in Mexico City, and with my daughter on by my side, it was New Year's Eve, 1998. When I arrived in Mexico City, and that's with nothing but my laptop and a pen, and the offering of having a place to teach, but I had nothing translated. It was everything from scratch we had to do.
Yes.
So that's
and you started with classes little by little.
Yeah. But me?
You started teaching classes?
Yes. Well, actually, we started with foundations. And there's a program that has about a series of classes, about 10 classes that you have to do. And I started with foundations. And then we will be translating, and there was no Google Translator then. We will be translating all through the week, the class. And I will be finding books that my whole team translating and looking for books to complement. And many times we'll finish the material for the following class at midnight or the previous morning where the class will take place. It was hard times, but at the same time, fun times.
And there was a lot of interest in Spanish-speaking countries to learn science of mind.
Well, yes, I think that there is some sort of disillusion with religion as is understood here. And this is a spiritual way, not a religious way. So that gives a lot of freedom to people to continue with their traditions if they wish, but at the same time, to learn to think by themselves. We don't teach what to think, but how. And
Yes.
that takes a bit of effort.
I wanted to ask you, Dr. Rebecca, what is the main premise or the principal premise of a science of mind to the people that know nothing about it? If you
Oh,
had to say it in 3 or 4 words, what would be that main premise?
yeah, but science of mind is a way of life. It's an affirmative. I wouldn't say positive. It's positive, but you can be positively wrong. No, it's an affirmative way of life. It affirms life, it honors life and diversity. And our vision is a vision of a world that works for everyone. I know it may look like a fantasy, but we can dream it, you know.
Okay.
So if we all dream together, we know that in many traditions, life is a dream.
Yeah, it's a nice song and it's a
Yes.
reality. What do
Yeah.
you think, like the common denominator of people out there that we are all trying to be happy, but what are we doing wrong, most of us? What is that rock in the shoe that keeps us from
The,
seeing the
the,
our
sense, the sense of separation
Mm-hmm.
from God or from whatever is your good. One of our teachers, Emma Curtis Hopkins, said, the name of God is good, and my God is my good, and I ought to have it. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that sometimes we separate from that idea and we start feeling too small, too difficult, too. We let the ocean of negativity come over us. So I think that it is important to have a how you call it, those something to float when and that's your faith. That's whatever you believe of the world. And what makes so powerful sense of mind is that we believe that the universe is for us, not against us. It's not watching what we do to punish us. It
Mm-hmm.
wants us to triumph because it is each one of us and each one of the creatures is God in expression. If that is all there is. So obviously, if you do something wrong to someone else, you are doing it to yourself. Then you have the law of cause and effect, which is something that we believe. We don't
love it.
believe in a power that punishes. We believe that you make mistakes and you pay for those mistakes, the consequences, but not because someone is punishing you. So that's no sin, but mistake.
Yeah. I feel like I have a golden opportunity here of asking burning questions to two brilliant minds. And I kind of want to like throw out there a couple of questions and I want to hear both your perspectives, which I value and I respect a lot. We normally see the world like very dual. This is good, this is bad, and we tend to forget how something that looks good could not be that good at the end of the road, or vice versa. So, to the people out there, I want you to tell us how can we approach those things in life that at that very moment they don't look good. How do we just relax and allow things to unfold? You can start as Dr. Sirena.
Oh,
So,
me. Well, I think it's what Rebecca was saying. It's about when we have that sense of separation, that sense that we're separate from the divine intelligence that we are actually part of. For me, it's good to remind myself that God is all there is, and that's what I use as an affirmation that I repeat constantly. If God is all there is, there's nothing outside God. So this situation, this circumstance that I think it's not good, it's also God. So that keeps me centered in the oneness with this divine intelligence.
How about you, Dr. Rebecca?
mm, I think that good and bad don't exist. There's nothing good or bad. The Taoism got it right. You know, the symbol of Taoism, black and white, is all part of the same. We need the darkness to appreciate light. And I don't think that there is good or bad. That's a perspective, usually a human perspective. Because if you are in the jungle and a tiger is following you, or a lion, or one of those, and catches you and eats you, I mean, it's not very good for you, but for the tiger and his and her people,
Cubs.
it was good. Her cubs, it was good. So it's a perspective, a human perspective.
Basically. And if we kind of understand that we are not separated from that tiger or from that hunter, we could, even with a lot of wisdom and a lot of all the things that I don't have, even feel fulfilled because we actually serve the purpose, right?
Yes, and it's not we really understand the intelligence that expresses to us, we will know that it's not the end or the beginning. It's just another little step in the wheel of life.
That's
So
right.
we don't really die; we transcend to another dimension, and I don't think that we attract unpleasant things. That good and bad is a human perspective.
Perspective.
Yes. I love your energy, Rebecca, and your kindness and your softness, and how you're such an example for the students. I am part of the faculty of the School for Spiritual
Yes, thank you.
Leadership, and I'm so honored. And I see how your students love you and follow you so much. Why don't you tell a little bit about what that school is about?
Yes, yes. This is, if you have been with me at the beginning, this is the final meta, the purpose. The dream of my life was to take this not only to Mexico, but to the whole Spanish speaking countries, and to train the leaders. We have many leaders already, young people that have been preparing themselves, that discover the philosophy, that like it, that prepare themselves for a few 2 years to be practitioners and after understanding, but they didn't get the opportunity that I had. When I really liked science of mind, I had the opportunity in my life to spend 4 years of my life totally dedicated to the studies in the United States with the Holmes Institute. And not many people can leave family. Things just happen at the right time for the right moment in everything in my life. I lost my husband, etc., etc. And the pieces of the puzzle came together for me to take a proper training. So it is my desire, and with the help of Sirena and other very intelligent people that assist me, we are providing one of the best trainings that I think is world-class training that we are providing for our leaders in Mexico, Spain, South America, and the Spanish-speaking people. And they will be trained as well as any minister, of any denomination.
Yes.
But without being ministers, because we don't want to be ministers. We are leaders, spiritual leaders. Period. Yeah.
And it's an online program.
Yes, this is totally online because it's the only possible way to do it right now. Yes.
Yes. And it's all in Spanish.
It's all totally in Spanish. Yes. We use the latest avant-garde modalities in education because Sirena and Ada, this is my assistant, Ada de Metropolis, from Argentina, and the team, they all the idea. They are, yeah, they are really prepared. Ada is a teacher like me by trade, and they all love this philosophy, and we are doing our very best. I'm using the flipped classroom modality for some of the classes with great success. And that, I don't know, well, that's another theme. But avant-garde technology online, and we have a community that is actually closer than some people that know each other and touch each other. Well, you're a student. How do you feel right now?
And you asked how I feel?
As a student, you are the teacher.
Oh,
And
yes. Yeah. Oh, I love it. I
choose
love
to
the
be a
community.
student too.
I love the community. I love the people you attract, because the leaders that you have attracted throughout Latin America, there's people from Argentina, from Peru, from Mexico. What other countries?
We have Venezuela,
Venezuela.
yes, and we have Colombia, one, and Vieques, Puerto Rico.
From Puerto Rico, and people from the US also, right?
And people from the US, yes.
Yes. And they are so committed to what they're doing, and they love the training. They understand the principles so clearly intellectually, but they really live them. They practice them in everything that they do in their lives. I love the community. It's fantastic.
And more than anything, we are creating a beloved community.
That's right.
A group of people that supports each other and prays for each other and shares their knowledge with each other. Really wonderful group we have. Yes.
You do.
Thank you for being a part of it.
I am so honored. Thank you for having me there.
Yes.
Mirna?
Well, definitely super interesting what you are doing. And what I wanted to ask you is, what are the people that complete your program? What are they end up being qualified for? I understand you say they're leaders, but in that they're not reverends, they're not ministers. So what will be the type of group that they will be? But
Actually, some they can choose to call themselves reverends if they want to. I think that there is a couple of guys, both young men. Two of them are young men. One is a college professor and dean of of a university, and he does want to have be called reverend, even though, of course, doesn't want to build a church per se. But the perspective of spirituality has changed a lot. And most of the people that I have right now training as are already leaders. I have one of the students, Gladys, in Peru, that that has a center, physical center, with an average of 100 students that come in and out. And in addition to that, a children's school that takes care of the kids after the parents leave from the school. The parents come home.
like an after-school program.
Yes, like a school program. And I mean, she has a real, it's not, they don't have services, they don't have, they don't take tithes or anything like that. They teach classes, and they have the school for the kids, and they teach people the principles of respect to others, and one of the premises, which is the use of the creative power, the mind, the creative power of the mind and how to use it. The creative process is one of the things that they have to learn, how the mind works, how the creative process takes place, so they can make changes in their life. And once they see the changes in their life, they want to expand this to other areas of their life too.
Like you did with your health and with the finances.
Yes, well, we haven't, we are self-made. We don't have sponsorships per se, but everyone is contributing whatever they can. Once in a while, we get some contributions. Very grateful for those, and we can provide the scholarships for more students, and some for centers in the United States and Canada. Uh, provide scholarships once in a while. They have been discovering what we do, and
And you are part of the Centers for Spiritual Living.
yes, yes.
You respond to the home office,
I
and
am yes, totally. Yeah, I'm part of the Centers for Spiritual Living for over, well, I have been an ordained minister for 20 years.
yes.
Dr. Rebecca, what do you think is like the biggest lesson that you have learned? Where, like from your heart, what's the biggest lesson that you have learned from not only practicing but teaching spiritual principles to so many people through so many years?
I think that what I enjoy more teaching is the creative process. Is when people really understands why it's not luck, why is not that God doesn't love me. It's your own way of thinking, behaving, and being that is blocking your own your own enemy. Most of the time, the worst enemy are ourselves because we don't understand ourselves. So I think that to learn to know yourself and the power of your mind and the power of your creative mind and actually do the changes and demonstrate them. That's what it has been the most pleasurable thing for me.
There is a recurrent question that I always have, and that I deal, on a daily basis with people that have amazing content, amazing wisdom, and I hear so much, but it takes so much to actually be able to apply what you learn, because it feels like what you're learning, it gets somewhere here, and it doesn't really flow to practice. It doesn't really develops some, most of it in what we could turn it into. So what is that step, what's that thing we're missing that makes it so hard for us to actually apply and really find that point of humbleness, that point of overwhelming love that we're looking for? Overwhelming in the good sense.
Yeah, well, uh, it's the journey for everyone is different. The only journey that you have to really care for is the journey of your soul or your the essence of who you are, and it's going to be different. And we have to start by taking the idea that it's difficult. As a matter of fact, I really enjoy teaching science of mind because the people that start are the ones that have the greatest demonstrations in no time. You know, it's so easy to when you get it to demonstrate it, and that's one of the pleasures that I have to see the student demonstrating what really needed at that time, and then believing in the creative power of in himself. And there's no shortcuts. I mean, if it's short or long, it's all part of it, of the journey. So one of the things is that we tend to compare ourselves with others all the time. Oh, she got like, I mean, I had once when I was starting the ministry as a practitioner. I was not even a minister then. I had this young lady that came to me in Canada, and she says, "Oh, I wanted to assist me to find a good husband and wife." I was also young at that time, so the two of us prayed for a young man, and in 2 months she was almost engaged in a serious relationship and wonderful. Well,
Tell me that prayer.
well, but about a week later, that she came and told me that she was engaged and lovely and thank you, well, wonderful. About a week after she came to see me, came her friend, And then she said to me that I says, I don't know what you do, but you got a boyfriend to my friend that never had one, and I just want you to do the same for me. But no one, I don't want anyone. I want so and so to be my boyfriend.
Oh.
And then I said, I say, listen, uh, this lady, I say, I can treat for you, I can teach you how to think and everything to attract a man with good qualities. No, 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 no. I want so and so. No, I say, I don't do that. No, no, but what is that you appreciate of that young man? Well, she didn't want to explain too much. And she says, no, I don't want the qualities. I want him. I says, and what if he doesn't want you? Well, that's what you are here for. I said, you are with the wrong person. I said, I can assist you to find a good companion, a good husband, or whatever it is that you want, but not such and such. We have to let that quite limit us. Anyway, so it's not that it's not magic. As a matter of fact, when they come and say, "See, you think we are going to wash your brain?" We are totally wrong. We are all very busy washing our own. You come here to learn to wash your brain, and that's about it. It's like the creative power is, and the creative process is like a plant. You plant the seed idea in the land, in the ground of the mind, and then you water it with your faith, with your belief, with taking away all the no's and blockages, and let it grow. And that's all. It's very simple.
That is
Not
beautiful.
easy, but simple.
Dr. Sirena, you wanted to say something?
I think that, first of all, the principles of science of mind are so fantastic and so simple, and and what we're doing is practicing them because we apply them to life. That's the most important thing, like Rebecca was saying. And also to say that the work that Rebecca does is so incredible and so important to disseminate in the Spanish speaking world, because there's a lot of need. Like she was saying, there's like some disappointment with organized religion, so people are really yearning for some kind of spiritual life. And I think that these principles and the school of spiritual leadership really provides the information and the container to create really those spiritual leaders that we need in our countries. And that is what's going to solve many of the problems of our countries, not the political part, but really the change from within. So
Completely agree with you. How do we see the difference between the ego talking and our higher self, or that connection talking? I'm always very curious about how to learn trusting our intuition. I want you guys to
You
tell me. I want to hear your wisdom on that topic.
want to go first, Irena, or I go?
you go, Rebecca.
Okay. So the question is, how do you know if it's your true self, your intuition, or if it's your ego? Mhm.
Exactly. The crazy one. Who's who?
It's just make it one single question. Does this benefit others too? Does this hurt others? And if it's for of benefit for others, you can make sure that you can be sure that it's intuition. But if it just is good for you but not so good for the others, that's the same. Ego
Okay.
self.
So if I am in a situation in which I must do something, but someone may not like it and be hurt, that's my ego talking, or
That's your ego. Yes. If what you desire or want hurts others, it's your ego.
Okay. How about a situation in which I am that is hurting me, but getting out of a situation will hurt someone else? How is what's the proper way to channel that?
Oh,
Because
you have to,
sometimes people are hurt, but then they heal, or it's for the higher good, or something like that. Because in certain situations, not everybody can be happy. You need to make a decision, and you have to save someone in the ship.
who's number one?
The question is, who's number one?
Yeah, who's number one in your life?
The way I see it is that it has to be me. Because if I'm not taking care
Exactly.
of myself, I'm
Exactly.
drowning and everybody's drowning with me.
Exactly. You have to take care of number one first, and then be assistant of assistance to others. And if those others need an assistance that hurts you, sorry, that's not. That's their ego, and you need to defend the person you, the number one person, the love of you. You
Very
have to take care of yourselves first.
complex philosophical questions. What do you
Yeah.
think about it, Dr. Sirena?
Well, I agree with Rebecca, and I always think that the spiritual practices that are in place are the ones that are helping us to become more intuitive and more in tune with our truth. Daily meditation and prayer. We have a special type of
Yes.
prayer that is affirmative prayer, that it's a mental treatment to treat our mind so that we just focus on the truth of who we are as one with God. So all those practices, visioning, fellowshipping with other people who share our ideas, those are all practices that help us become more attuned with our intuition. So when we have those questions, it's easier for us to know when ego's talking or our higher self talking through us.
Yes.
I want to share something I heard once, and they asked this gentleman, and he said, "The ego's answers smell like fear."
Mm.
The
Your
ego, sorry?
the ego's answer smell like fear.
Oh,
Ego is always threatening you. What if? What if? What if?
yes.
And the other one is like a plain harmonious feeling of fuzziness of like this is just right.
That's right.
Yes.
I kind
Yes.
of like going with that compass, but it's not, as you said, it's kind of messy. It's not easy.
Well, is clear, but not easy. Yes.
We are about to wrap up, and I want to ask you before leaving. The first thing is if you wanted to leave us with a thought, with something from your heart that you feel that is worth listening to. Uh, we would strongly appreciate a piece, a gem from your wisdom,
Hmm.
Dr. Rebecca. You're
Yeah.
first.
Okay. How would you like if we close better with a moment of peace, a moment of meditation?
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Love that.
So we will we like usually to start and end remembering number one. The number one with capitals. One. So I invite you all and your listeners to take a moment and let go and let God. To breathe in and sense in that breath the presence of the one power that governs the universe. There is a power for good in the universe. And it's within us, above us, and everywhere. And we know that this power concentrates itself as many join in intention. So I invite you all to join in the intention of peace, beginning with me, with each of us, with our place. And take a moment to sense and see that presence and peace around you. Sense the gratitude of your heart for all the good in your life. And see your heart joining heart to heart to heart in a circle with all the people at this moment, in the intention of peace, understanding, and compassion. Feel your heart emanating that peace, that compassion, and receiving it. When we go our ways, with the knowing that when we light our light, when we let our light shine, we can assist others find the way. So let's shine the light of understanding, the light of love, the light of the heart. And so,
So it is.
thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Rebecca.
for having me, and thank you all for joining us.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for giving us that moment of peace. Where can our audience find you, Dr. Rebecca?
Oh, we have our webpage is Vida Espiritual, one word, .org of organization. So Vida Espiritual, spiritual life, pero en español, vidaespiritual.org. And we have lots of recordings, so talks and books and things there that you can probably enjoy if or send your people, your friends, Spanish speaking friends.
Thank you. I appreciate it. How about you, Dr. Sirena? Where can our audience find you?
My website is sirenapilarolo.com, SIRENAPELLAROLO.
Thank you. Thank you again for allowing us to be a channel for your wisdom and for taking time to share with the Mindalia TV audience, to our audience as well. Thank you for being always here, for tuning, for liking, subscribing, and remember that you can collaborate with us. For that, you can go to our website and you're gonna find a link that says "Collaborate with Mindalia," and you can do it in Spanish, English, and Portuguese through Mindalia Televisión, Mindalia Televisao, and Mindalia TV English. That's gonna be all for today. We want to send you a big hug from our heart to yours, and until next time. Bye,
Thank you.
ladies.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you so
Namaste.
much.